detective, thrill me.
Thanks for joining us again. Couple of weeks off. We haven't thrown an episode out for a little while. Been a little bit lax, but we're back with something that I would like to consider a touch weird, Jared.
Yeah.
It's in the horror genre, but it's kind of out there. It's 1989 Society. But before we get to it, I've got a decent list of watching things.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you've got quite a bit on your slate too.
I do.
I'll go first. I watched All Hallows Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Rubbish. Like I watched the whole film. Like you told me, just watch the short.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I couldn't find that. All I could find was the movie in total.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, all right, well, I better watch it from the start because I don't know where this comes in, where Art the Clown comes in. It was crud. It was.
Crud.
Even the Art the Clown story was crap.
Yeah.
It was the most It was the most, like, I guess it had an aesthetic that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Art the Clown definitely sort of brings a creepiness to things.
It's definitely a sort of a cut above.
Yes.
Some of the rest of the stuff.
Oh, the other stuff was incomprehensible. Like, it was just...
The first Art the Clown bit is also good.
Yeah, where he's sitting across from
at
her.
the train station. That's right in the pocket.
Yeah.
That's where I look at it and say there's something to this.
Yeah.
But fucking hell, that one goes society sort of level.
God. Yeah. But the middle one's the worst.
Yeah.
The one about the alien that
Yes.
Jesus Christ. I then watched Terrifier. No, I didn't enjoy it. No.
Mm.
I found some of it kind of creepy. The Art the Clown early on when he's in the donut shop.
Yep.
Or the pizza shop and he's looking at them and he's not saying anything and stuff. Some of that was creepy.
Yeah.
But there's no plot. There's no reason for any of what he's doing. There's just nothing. There's no characters to sort of cling to. It's just excessive violence.
Yeah.
And even that, I was kind of like, well, it's not even that interesting.
Yeah.
So it didn't really work for me.
No.
So I didn't get around to Terrifier 2, but I noticed that it was 2 hours and 18 minutes. And
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
lengthy.
fuck
It's
me.
lengthy. It is the best one.
You haven't seen 3 yet, right?
No, I haven't seen 3, but I did. I did dip in, which I'll get to.
Okay, cool. I watched Only Murders in the Building season 3. Yeah, good, but I think we're starting to see a little bit of fall away. Not as good as the previous 2 seasons, but still watchable. I watched a documentary called White Hot: The Rise and Fall of Abercrombie and Fitch. Did you ever wear any Abercrombie and Fitch,
I never
Jared?
wore any Abercrombie and Fitch.
It was pretty eye-opening the way they kind of
Some of their marketing.
Well, they basically were marketing to rich white people.
Yeah.
And that included people working in their stores. It was like, well, if you were any other nationality or had any other difference to you, they basically just cut you out of shifts. It was like, and if you were ugly, that was another one of their marketing ploys. If you're ugly, you can't work here.
Okay.
God, fellas, come on.
That's subjective, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what I like to think as a person who's probably ugly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't get a job at Abercrombie and Fitch. No fucking doubt. No way. But I was more of a Stussy and Mossimo man, James.
So, yeah, you're working at Lowe's, aren't you?
No, I'm working at fucking JJ's. All right. I watched Carved. The one that was on Hulu, which was on Disney Plus. It was a Halloween one. It was all right. I had a bit of fun with it. And my wife thought it was absolute rubbish, but I was just like, this is okay. It's good fun. It was kind of like, one of those sort of, I guess, alien mixed in with Halloween kind of elements. It was kind of cool. I watched Victor Crowley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they really haven't improved, have they?
You're not a huge fan of
not
the Hatchet
really.
series?
No, not really. I mean, I think it peaked with John Carl Buechler offering up a drink to a young lady in one of those piss bottles in the hospital. That's really...
Yeah.
That was the peak of its
More
humour.
of that. More of that.
Yeah, more of that. I watched Time Cut, which was very disappointing. Like, I found out the Time Cut was actually shot a year before Totally Killer, but somehow got kind of tangled up and wasn't released. And Totally Killer's much better.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Totally Killer had a kind of fun vibe. This was just, it was so bland, Jared. They didn't even get throw in some kills and stuff that were kind of bit of gore, bit of violence. Like, they didn't even go for that. It was just so bland. It's like, Jesus Christ, I wouldn't have even released it. I watched a mate of mine put me on to a documentary series that's on SBS called The Bloody Decade. It looks like it's taken a fair bit of stuff from that doco series that's on Shudder. You know, Darkness. What's it called? Darkness. I can't quite remember.
Search of Darkness.
Search of Darkness. Yeah, it looks like they've pulled some of that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all right. It was about franchises. The episode was about franchises. I watched a true crime series called Death in the Dorm, season 2. I watched Beverly Hills Cop Axel F for a second time. I actually enjoyed it more. I thought it kind of hit the spot. It was nicely pitched, nostalgic, still had a bit of humour. Some of the action was all right.
Bacon's still in.
Bacon is better. Watching him again, he's actually a little bit better.
Nah, sorry. I can't go there.
But he is the weak link in that whole group. Like, he's fucking frothing at the mouth.
I mean, he does that sort of stuff with ease, but it was just
It was a shit character, for starters.
I think so.
And the last one was I watched Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Piss funny. And some awesome cameos.
Yeah.
I dug the cameos. I really dug the stuff with Gambit, Elektra, and Blade together. Just
to give you a little spoiler warning there in case anyone hasn't seen it.
Spoilers. I think everyone's fucking seen it.
Yeah.
That stuff was awesome. Like, that stuff was really cool. And it was more than just a cameo. It was a little bit more. Yeah. So I liked that. But it made no fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's because it's linked to shit that I had no idea.
Well, it's the Marvel stuff has gotten to the point where if you've missed anything, you fucking...
You don't know what's happening.
There's probably going to be something that you don't latch onto. Because as I said to you, like, the whole TVA business had a whole series worth of work on Loki where they talked about fucking pruning timelines and all this sort of shit. Yeah. Even then, there was parts of it that it kind of felt like it sort of contradicted a little and that sort of thing. But if you hadn't seen that, I can imagine just sitting there going, what the fuck are you talking about?
I had no fucking idea what was happening.
Yeah.
But I just went with it. I was just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, it's clear that I don't know what this is all about.
Yeah.
But I was having good fun with it. It was funny and it was interesting.
I mean, Channing Tatum is currently, it's probably my all-time favourite meme. People are going to get sick and tired of me going, ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself. Just fucking carrying on with that sort of shit. Like, it's I loved it.
Yeah, you loved it.
I loved that part of it.
You loved it. But that's it for me. What did you have on the slate?
I also watched Time Cut. Yeah, I was thoroughly disappointed. I thought it was very bad.
And, part of it, and I was listening to a podcast of another group of guys who talk about horror films, and what they said was the reason why Totally Killer worked better is because it went back to the 1980s.
Yeah.
So the sort of like fish out of water stuff was piss funny. Like a kind of... Whereas this one went back to 2003.
Yeah, but I don't even think that was... I mean, the moment it started, it just dropped us in a really weird place.
Yeah.
With some really weird reactions to shit going on. And I was just looking at it going, holy shit, this stuff's supposed to be important and there is not a lick of like emotion or connection between characters. There's no one that I'm latching onto.
Yeah.
And then we fucking get into the time travel and I was like, well, fuck. Yeah, you've really done nothing to set me up there, and it didn't improve in that. I think that the 2000s was possibly an issue.
Well, fuck, mate. It seemed like it was exactly the same.
But don't forget, that's 20 odd years ago now. So we're at a point where doing something like that is all right. Like that's.
No, but I guess the hairstyles, the clothing, the shit like in the 80s, everyone sort of, it's a real culture shock.
Yeah, I know, but don't forget we're of the ilk of that, where that was our time. That was where we grew up. So there's people, there's a big audience now that's like, that's 2000.
Understand that 2003 is their sort of...
Yeah, there's something there. I would probably agree that maybe that wasn't done so well.
No, it wasn't, because they kind of do one quick sort of montage of things that they find when they get there.
I don't think everything has to be the 80s. Like the 80s was our time, but there's other times that you can take the piss out of.
But they didn't...
I mean, they could have been strutting around in Abercrombie and Fitch, Adam. Talk about missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity. Yeah, what they did is they didn't take the time period and do something interesting with it. They just kind of went back to it, showed us a few fucking, things that stood out.
They didn't get the rights to some fucking goofy song from that time.
That
sort of shit.
They kind of go there. They just didn't. They didn't push any of it.
No, they didn't have anyone fucking rollerblading down the street.
They did have those shoes with wheels.
That's right, the wheelies. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Shit.
You would have had a pair of them, you fucking idiot. You
did not have a pair of wheelies. Now listen, mate, I know you had rollerblades. So
I have. Still got them. Thank you.
So don't start throwing that out there.
I'm quite fucking deft. I can still ride the fuckers.
I don't even need to say anything. You've just done it yourself there.
I'm a little rusty. I'll say that.
Yeah. So, Time Cut was
rubbish.
Poor. I also, last time I put my thoughts out there on Terrifier, I watched Terrifier again, and I watched Terrifier 2 again. Yep. I'm in the same space. I think Terrifier 2 is better.
It's more competently made, is that right? It's got more money?
Yeah, it's got more money behind it, but I think it's done a bit better. There are certain scenes in there that I think are, again, very effective. I think Art the Clown is probably more effective than in some of the other stuff. The lead girl is really good. I like her. I like that character. But again, I read all this stuff about trying to say, there's heaps of story in it. There's not. Like, I don't think there is. So I'm kind of still in the same place. Like I said, I am not trying to say that I'm not happy for this bloke. I'm not happy to see the independent horror stuff. I am. I support the stuff. Just don't tell me it's in the same sort of pocket as Texas Chainsaw, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. I just don't think it's anywhere near the peak of those series. So.
Absolutely not. No.
I also watched one called Faceless After Dark.
Faceless After Dark?
Which was actually Jenna Cannell, who was the lead girl initially in Terrifier, the one with like the skeleton kind of suit.
Yep.
And Faceless After Dark is about she's playing an actress who's in a movie with a scary clown and sort of struggling with the aftermath of, getting looked over for gigs, doing conventions, all that sort of shit. It was pretty cool. I think she actually had a hand in co-writing it.
Where can I find this?
I found it.
Did you have to fly over to the US?
It was on my travels. It was in my travels that I found this.
All right, yeah.
But it was okay. It was okay. There were some places where clearly she's struggling with some of the bits and pieces of horror fandom, and it's sort of pushing towards like the toxic elements of it. But there was parts of it where I was kind of watching it going, wow, I think she just fucking hates the horror audience in general. So there was probably a little bit of pushing into very fictional parts of that. Because I know she's been very good about sort of, doing interviews with kind of small sort of YouTube channels and shit like that about this stuff. And she seems to be quite open with that sort of thing. So, it was kind of interesting to watch where it goes. I don't think it fully kind of landed for me, but I did enjoy it. After that, I watched a couple of things. I rewatched Halloween around the season, the
original
first one, the original. Love it. Not much more to say there. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street again.
Oh,
it was actually on the flight. one of the flights. There's Elm Street was just on there, and I'd seen a bunch of the other stuff, so I watched that again. Loved it. Of
Classic.
course, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Look, I didn't hate it. I got some enjoyment out of it. The problems that people have put out there are on the money. Like, there's a lot going on.
Too much.
Yes, and it kind of becomes too much because you don't spend a lot of time with some of the characters and then you kind of go back to them, and there's a lot that's just pushed to the side, and I would have liked a little more time with the villain, to be honest.
Yeah, there wasn't much there, but yeah, it was kind of interesting. It
Yeah.
could have been interesting.
So, you know, it was another one where it hit enough kind of points for me that I had an enjoyable watch, but nothing spectacular. I watched The Game, the Michael Douglas one from the 90s.
That's a fucking interesting flick.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I don't know whether it was in the... It was good.
I think it overstretches itself. It's really interesting early on and then kind of loses a little bit of steam.
Yeah, and it just feels like it's kind of just heading in one direction. There was no... I don't know. You felt like there was not a lot of surprise in what was coming.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's just in the meantime we've seen other things that have done similar, or
Yeah.
but yeah, that was the first time I watched it. So I was partially expecting to be blown away because I'd heard it was awesome. Yeah, I wasn't quite there, although I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
After that, I did myself dirty.
You dug
fucking-
deep, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I dug deep. First off, I watched The Hitman, which was a Chuck Norris one.
Oh, yeah.
Not good. Don't need to talk too
I
much
love
about
the
that.
fact that it's not good.
Not good.
Was that in any way, shape or form directed, written or produced by Aaron Norris?
I don't think so. I believe it was. I can't remember whether it was a Canon one or not.
I don't think it was.
I think it might have been after Canon had gone under. Oh no, Aaron Norris. Yeah, it was an Aaron Norris one.
Okay.
But yeah, not great work from Chuck.
Well, that seems to be the fucking consensus whenever we talk
He's got
about
a lot
movies.
He's got a lot of 2 to 2.5s for mine. Because he does, you know, once he gets to kicking heads, we're all right. But
Yeah.
anything outside that's not really working
Yeah.
for me. Then this is where I did myself real dirty. I decided to resume my watch through of the Children of the Corn movies.
Oh, God.
I happened to get to every one that I hadn't seen.
Shit.
Which
So
was-
which ones did you get to?
So I started with Children of the Corn 4, The Gathering, which is the one with Naomi Watts.
How was that?
Not good.
Not
Children of the Corn 5, Fields of Terror, also not good.
Anyone of note in that?
Eva Mendes
Oh.
and Alexis Arquette,
Okay.
both in that one.
Both not willing to talk about it? What's the chance?
Well, I mean, that one tried to go for more of like it put this group of young people together on the trip and tried to have more of sort of a slasher vibe to it.
Yeah.
It just didn't really work. I mean, the most memorable thing in it, I don't know why, but I
Oh, my
can't
God.
get it out of my head, is Alexis Arquette getting someone throws a can out of a cupboard.
Yeah.
And it's basically a Spam knockoff called Smeat. And the character kind of stands there and goes, Smeat. That's the only thing I can remember from the whole fucking movie. But it gave me
endless
it gave me lots of laughs. Because I think yes, I think they understood what they were in there. So
yeah, okay.
Children of the Corn
666?
666.
Not good.
Not good.
Okay.
Children-
I feel the consistency here.
Yeah, there's a consistency. So the first remake, the one that was done on Sci-Fi in 2009, I think, which is
I don't even remember this one.
yeah, it's closer to the book. Like it doesn't add the kids that the couple comes across, and the couple is on the trip trying to work through marital problems.
No.
The issue is, in the first 20 minutes, the pair of them are just insufferable. Absolutely insufferable. The poor woman in the lead role is given nothing to do but shriek. And
Anyone of note in this one?
No, nobody of
Sci-fi.
note.
Yeah.
And also the child actor, like the child actor that's Isaac in particular, not a patch on the original. That's one of the few things I like about the original.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, that was not good. I then got into Now I think I watched these two out of order, but I was just fucking picking and finding them where I could.
How many of these fucking movies are there?
There's 12.
Holy shit.
So, Children of the Corn Genesis.
Is that the one that brings Isaac back? Or was that in 666?
No, 666 was the return. Was Isaac's return. Genesis has a. Oh fuck! I don't even want to talk about him. That one's got Billy Drago.
Oh, Billy Drago.
So he gave you a bit of something, just kind of because he was a good actor.
Yeah.
So having him in there sort of helped things a bit, but not much. It's still not great. And then Children of the Corn Revelation, which was a fucking slog as well. Children of the Corn Revelation has, I reckon, 4 or 5 characters that are in there for one scene before they're knocked off.
Yeah.
And it sticks out really badly. Like, there's one character he's this guy in a wheelchair that kind of lives in the apartment. He literally does nothing, but he's in one scene fucking wheeling down the corridor, establishing that he just abuses everyone, just fucking screams and yells at him. The next time you see him, he's banging on a wall telling someone to shut the fuck up before you're making too much noise or whatever. And then he gets killed. And I'm just like, what are we doing?
Now, Jared, you've now seen all 12. Is that fair?
Yes.
So what's the best one? Because doesn't sound like there's a lot of...
There's not much there. There's not much there.
I heard 3 was the best.
I fucking hated 3. Well, I actually think somewhere in 2, because 1 and 2 I kind of have reasonably close together. 3 is probably just a little shy of them. Two's got some really fucking funny stuff in there. Not
was it
purposely.
3 that had Charlize Theron in it?
Yeah, she's literally an extra.
Still.
Well, you're going to watch 90 minutes of that to see it for fucking 10 seconds?
Probably.
Fucking scumbag.
No, but I'm talking about... I heard 3 was one of the better ones, but you clearly have debunked that quickly.
I think it's crap.
So,
I would say 1 and 2. Doesn't 2 have the part where they take over the old lady's wheelchair by remote control and things like highly comedic shit?
Cannot remember 2 at all.
I think 2 had a few parts that just made me laugh.
I've watched maybe 7 of these, and I could not tell you what any of them were
which ones
about.
have you watched? You seem to be in a state of confusion when I'm talking about
I've definitely watched 1 through 4.
Okay.
And I've definitely watched the latest remake.
Yeah.
And I believe I might have watched 666. But that's it. But I couldn't tell you fuck all about any of them except for the first one.
No.
I can tell you, even the first one, I can tell you Linda Hamilton was in it. That's it.
Yeah. Look, Runaway was the other one where I thought worthwhile because they tried to go with something a little different about someone that got out of the cult.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, shit. And delving into them, I'd still like someone to talk to me about He Who Walks Behind the Rose because my understanding of it is, Stephen's writing some stuff about how, children are impressionable with the whole religious teaching. And
Stephen's explanation for this is cocaine.
But I think, so He Who Walks Behind the Rose for me is kind of like it's the whole God and, it's something that's not seen. But then we fucking... A couple of times in the series, we fucking see him. So that kind of spoils it for me, doesn't it? I thought part of it was the fucking danger of something that we can't fucking establish is there or not.
Look, I just assumed it was a monster. Jesus Christ. We cooked this thing up.
Well, the series is a fucking monster at this stage. Like, honestly, the best ones in the series, I would struggle to give 2.5 out of 5.
Jared, Stephen King needs to fucking kill this thing by saying no more. You cannot make anything more of this shit.
Stephen's not going to do that.
No,
Stephen's got a number of kids.
I've made enough money off this shit and we're not making any more of these. That's what he needs to say.
But how do you make 12 of these things and not have one that I would consider to be good in it?
Because they're all made horror junk.
They're cheap as chips. I know they're horror junk. I get that. We were in the period of straight to video being a bankable kind of market for certain things.
Yes.
We're out of that, Adam, but we're still making these things. And we're still making bad ones.
Straight to streaming, mate. That's now bankable. So
Is it?
no, not
They
really.
shelved one for 3 years. How bankable is that?
Mate, when you shelve something for 12 months or more, just get rid of it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's like finding a packet of, fucking or
like-
some Vegemite in the
it's
back
like
of the
finding
cupboard.
a packet of fucking, I don't know, packet of Kingstons that you've opened
Yeah.
and left there for fucking 12 months. And you chomp on it.
No,
it's not,
immediately
not
you
pleasant.
take it out. It's rock hard.
yeah, straight in the bin.
But you eat it.
Well,
you eat one or
try
two
to
of
sample.
them.
And I can tell you, like, the next time they release one, I'll be sampling that Kingston, even though I know it's been on the shelf for 12 months.
All right, fuck me. That's a hard slog.
It's terrible, terrible.
You must have been, like, scrubbing yourself down daily.
I was scrubbing myself down. So, but I had a couple of reasonable ones on the other end. So actually, no, I didn't. Fuck, I watched Borderlands.
Holy fuck.
Borderlands wasn't great. Look,
I
there was-
heard that was
There was
shocking.
a couple of action sequences and things where I can see, and I haven't played the Borderlands games, but the story they were putting together, I was like, okay, well, I can see why you tried for this. But there was some really odd choices, like Kevin Hart as kind of the action sort of guy. I like Kevin Hart. I just felt sort of a little odd placement. And Kate Blanchett, I mean, she can do anything. She's a great actress. Again, just felt the placement felt a little strange.
But
So,
fuck.
and
what?
your pal, Edgar Ramirez,
Edgar.
he's fucking running out of chances for me. You told me, yeah, he's not a bad actor. And then you watch Point Break.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
well,
Edgar. Fuck.
So he's got Point Break. He's got this.
Oh, Edgar.
I need Edgar to sit down and answer some fucking charges for me.
Edgar. Talk to your agent.
Yeah.
Look for a new one. Stop picking this shit up.
Yeah. The next time your agent puts one in front of you and goes, "Here, I got you this," say, "Nah,
Edgar.
I'll pick the next."
Edgar, give me a call. I'll have a read for you.
I watched all 3 Quiet Place movies.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I had the opportunity to watch the new one, but I hadn't seen 2. So I just did the rip through of
And
the
how
series.
was it?
Yeah, look, it's a very consistent series. I actually enjoy. They're pretty damn close, but I think I actually enjoy 2 more than 1.
Okay.
Because it's obviously very similar stuff, but they bring a couple more. So I think what it is I never thought it was super original. The experience of sitting there watching a portion of the movie that was very quiet was an interesting experience. But in terms of originality, I think I've said to you before, it's
Been down
definitely
this a
taken
million
things
times,
like
yeah.
from The Descent, The Last of Us, things like that. But it brings some interesting, and I think it does this through the series. It brings some interesting situations in.
Yes.
Like, obviously, the first one's like, okay, well, what the fuck do you do when you're going to have a baby in the midst of
Yeah.
something that's got to be silent? That was really interesting. And some of the emotional beats. The second one I like more, and I'll tell you part of the reason I like it more is because Cillian Murphy, I think, is a way better actor than John Krasinski.
Oh, fuck.
So I think having him
There's no doubt.
I think having him in a lot of those scenes is really cool. It brings a little bit more of that, not much, but it brings a little bit more of the, okay, well, what have people turned into in the midst of this?
One thing Cillian Murphy does not have that Krasinski's currently got is sexiest man alive. People's sexiest man
Have you
alive.
heard that there's sort of groundswell of Krasinski's an arsehole coming up?
Oh.
Yeah, because he's obviously built this nice guy reputation.
Is it on
but I've
Reddit?
heard it's probably on
Usually that
Reddit.
shit's on Reddit.
No, well, I've heard it from my mate on the town that I
Oh.
listen to has mentioned a couple of times, look, it's well known Krasinski's an arsehole. And so I've heard it there. I've read it a couple of places, not on Reddit, but so yeah,
So
apparently now that
Krasinski's an asshole as
apparently
well.
now that he's got a bit of power going around, he's kind of developed a little reputation for
right,
throwing his way around a little bit. So yeah,
That's
the
disappointing.
nice
That's
guy
disappointing.
rep is gone. But I think I just think generally and spoilers if you haven't seen it, but him, I hate the ending of the first one. Like, I feel like it was just trying to sucker in an emotional beat because that motherfucker had plans for everything except, now I've just got to sacrifice myself. It's not quite Kevin Costner in Man of Steel, but it's not far off for me. I just feel like he's got so many other things going that I didn't buy it. Yeah. But that's a minor quibble. I probably take that a bit further. The third one's really interesting because
is that called Day One or something?
Yeah. Again, it places itself right early in the mix, but it's almost like where you get a comic where they write like a one-shot story in the midst of another thing that you already know about. And really just kind of centers on it's not fucking worried much about where it goes beyond this sort of situation.
That's got a totally different cast, right?
Yeah, totally different cast, characters that aren't involved in the original. I mean, there's one character that appears that if you've watched the previous two, but it was really just this kind of, I just thought it was a really nice kind of way to take it. So it's a very consistent series. I would say it's a solid sort of mid-tier, all of the films are like a 7 out of 10 enjoyable series. So it was good to go back through that. Last one's Adam. I watched Missing in Action. Amazon has finally come to the party and put all 3 of them on there. So
there's a 4th though.
No, there's not.
There is.
No, there's not.
Missing in Action 4.
Who's in that?
Is it? Chuck's in it.
You're talking shit. There's not a Missing in Action 4.
Keep talking.
There's a Missing in Action 3.
Keep talking, and I'll
That's
see
where it finishes. Because 1 and 2 were the ones where they shot them
I'm getting them mixed up with fucking Death Wish.
Yeah, possibly.
But keep talking.
There's so 1 and 2 were the ones where they shot them simultaneously.
Yeah, and they released 2 as 1.
They released 2 as 1 because Joseph Zito's got a bit of idea.
Yes.
Look, it's okay. It's okay. Again, it's right in the pocket of Chuck. He doesn't have to do.
Is it okay though?
Personally, I still think I would much rather watch Invasion USA. Yeah, and I still have to watch Lone Wolf McQuade, which I've heard is
one of his better ones. Yeah.
So I reckon it'll come in behind those. So yeah, I'll be reporting back on 2 and 3 shortly. And the other thing I watched, Adam, was I felt I needed to go back to the second Blair Witch movie.
Oh yes.
So I didn't get to that, but on my travels I found it, and on the same service I found Curse of the Blair Witch, which was that
documentary. Yes, which the documentary, if I remember correctly, was actually good.
Yeah, so
because it kind of set the scene for what the whole thing was.
Yeah, I forgot that because I remember when it all came about that this was on like Channel 9 like a couple of weeks before the movie came out.
Fuck.
So I recall.
You're correct. Well, last one was Braddock, Missing in Action.
You're talking out of your ass. Funny, because we're going to be doing some talking out of our ass about society.
Well, somebody's going to be talking out of their ass. I don't know if it's us.
But yeah, I forgot how much of the sort of heavy lifting this did in terms of the mythology and that sort of shit.
Yes.
Like watching this before going to watch the movie made the movie better.
Yes. Yes.
So I think watching it again, it was really cool to look at the lengths they'd gone to. Not only, like, the doco's well made. Like, the footage of the old stuff looks legit.
But this is the thing, Jared. We said it at the time when we covered the movie on this podcast, was that it was a fantastic marketing ploy. The key to the Blair Witch is not the movie. It's the marketing, the way they marketed it. And that documentary was part of that.
And the movie is effective, but I think the doco and the surrounding stuff certainly adds to the longevity and the
it builds it builds shit that wasn't really in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and gives you the context.
Well, a few of the tales around it all, like they do a really good job of sort of, having these historians on screen talking about, there was a girl at the time that reported she was walking through the woods and came across this woman that was fucking floating in the air that told her to follow her to this house and all this sort of shit. And they put these little drawings from old books and they put the fucking interviews from the old TV show with this Wiccan guy who's talking about a lot of it. And then they fucking put the footage of Rustin Parr in prison. And I'm like, this stuff looks fucking great.
Yeah.
If they put all that together just as an add-on for the movie, it looks really good.
Yeah.
So I think I forgot how much of the sort of heavy lifting and the exposition that they kind of just got out of the way so you go and watch the movie with all that already in your head.
Yeah. But it was harder to get back then, though, wasn't it? Had to be on Channel 9.
You had to watch it or you missed it.
Yeah. And I don't remember seeing it
before
I went to the movie.
Yeah, I did. And then I recall watching the movie with you, and I mean, you weren't pleased. I I was not super pleased.
I was
I've come
not
to
super
appreciate
pleased.
things better later on. But
I appreciate it standing.
you had that fucking steely gaze when we walked out, a little bit quiet until you get 10 steps out of the movie theatre, then you drop a fucking shit or something like that.
But you know what, though? I appreciate where it sits
Yeah.
in terms of film.
Oh, for
and
sure.
the fact that it almost like regenerated something like found footage and it took...
Well, you look at the
product.
viral marketing stunts
Yes.
now and you can see the traces
They
of Blair Witch
trace
all
back to
over
Blair Witch. The fact that they played that whole, this is the footage that was found, that people legitimately thought these people were missing, that's effective marketing at its fucking finest.
And even like watching this, there was still points where I'm like, what's real and what's not? Because I kind of knew at this point that none of this is real. It's all made up. But then I recall watching this doco and thinking, is this town actually like a real place?
Yeah.
And then, the town is a real place, but then a lot of the backstory, they blended it really well to the point where I was like, there was points where I was like, hang on a minute, I thought this was all fake, but this seems like they're fucking actually taking stuff from the history of the town.
Yeah, agreed. Is that everything?
That's everything.
All right, let's take a break. Here's the trailer to 1989's Society.
Beverly Hills is known as a society of wealth and privilege, but Billy Whitney doesn't seem to be getting his share. He thinks everyone is out to get him, even his friends.
You never were one of us.
He thinks that he doesn't belong.
Hell, they don't even look like me. Why are you guys doing this to me, huh?
He believes he's seeing things. Bad things. Beyond reality. Is it just his imagination?
I'm not paranoid. All my fears are real.
Or has Billy uncovered something terrible? Something unspeakable?
Don't go home, Billy.
What, you've been living with these people all your life and you didn't know anything about this?
If you don't follow the rules, Billy, bad things happen.
You know you'll make such a great contribution to society.
Who are you?
And now Billy
It's showtime, Billy!
is fighting for more than just his sanity. He's fighting for his life. The time is coming for Billy to take his place in society. It's all about fitting in.
Society waits for you.
Society from 1989, directed by Brian Yuzna, who directed The Dentist. It's produced by Keith Wally, who produced Delta Delta Die. Written by Zeph E. Daniel, under the pseudonym Woody Keith, who wrote Girl Next, and Rick Fry, who wrote Bride of Reanimator. It stars Billy Warlock as Bill Whitney, Evan Richards as Milo, Patrice Jennings as Jenny Whitney, Tim Bartell as David Blanchard. The budget was $2 million. The box office was $118. So not really bang for your buck there.
$118.
Yeah, exactly.
You got your figures right there?
No, that's what it says on the Internet Movie Database. I couldn't find any other, figures anywhere
Jesus.
that they were talking about, so I went with it.
I mean, these days that's like what, fucking 4 or 5 people buying the Blu-ray.
Well, in this day and age, though, that's like budget to box office. That's Red One.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Can't wait to talk about that.
While shooting the infamous shunting scenes, Brian Yuzna would put a sign on the soundstage door that read, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." Fair enough, Brian.
Yeah.
I would fucking have wondered what I'd stumbled into if I'd have
Correct.
actually walked in there. All right, Jared. Society. How did you feel about it? This was a bit of a left field pick.
Yeah. I'm going to blame you for this one.
Yeah,
too,
I
again.
know. I don't know
you're
why. It just
fucking-
came to me.
You're trying to stretch and you're really fucking us over.
I was on the toilet, a fucking face was coming out of my ass. I said, gee, this reminds me of Society.
Yeah. No, look, I actually think this, I quite like it. It does a reasonable job of sort of putting out this, like isolating the character. Like I think it does a good job of sort of putting out, this guy's in some sort of situation that he's kind of almost solo in, not quite solo, but almost kind of alone in. Once you get down the stretch, it does get obviously quite weird, but the effects in those particular scenes are pretty damn impressive for the most part. I think, it feels like there's not a whole lot going on at certain points.
Yes.
Like, it feels like he's just kind of stumbling through situations and you're like, well, it hasn't really sort of rolled along his story all that much. And obviously they're going pretty heavily on the sort of commentary, which is right up front. And I think Brian Yuzna's actually kind of said that he was focusing more on like the surrealism and the logic and all that sort of stuff.
He was.
So yeah, a couple of complaints with that. But overall, I think for a young cast, they've got some reasonable sort of acting performances in there.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of fun. Probably a 3 for me.
3. I would. I think the ideas around class and the whole society, the hoity-toity kind of society, with this kind of desperate to hide this sick shit behind the veneer of this classy group. That's interesting stuff, and I think trying to build some paranoia for him, and the fact that he feels like he's not part of the family, he's kind of ostracized. That's all really interesting stuff, but I didn't feel like it was fully fleshed out.
No. Which
hampers the enjoyment of that, and I think what makes it a little slow in the midpoint.
And we've seen a lot of stuff like that too. Like you got sort of Body Snatchers, you got They Live, you got even stuff like in our sort of 90s era of things like The Faculty and kind of disturbing behaviour and whatever. They kind of go with similar paths to people being something different.
Yeah. I think Billy Warlock is quite good. It gives me a slight Michael J. Fox vibe.
Yeah.
But I think he's really good. The rest of the cast is serviceable. The effects are fucking impressive.
Yeah.
And, all practical. So, that tickles my fancy for the 80s.
I mean, that fucking head was really in an ass. A prosthetic.
Yeah, that's correct. But it just doesn't quite hold together. Even getting to the bizarre kind of finale, I know where they're going and I get the subtext, but it just doesn't. Something's just missing, a little bit missing. I gave it 2.5. Like I still enjoyed what I got. But it just felt like there's a little ingredient not quite there.
Yeah.
Straight out of the gate, FX. I mean, fuck me. That I mean, it's a $2 million budget. A large portion of that must have been spent on that last 20 minutes. I mean, it's just all happening there.
Yeah.
Like, there is shit going on left and right.
Yes. There is.
I mean, we'll get to it, but dearie me. Imagine shooting that sequence. It would have taken weeks, I reckon, because there's so much crap going on there. But really impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah.
Screaming Mad George was a weird dude, but he knew his way around the prosthetics.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
And, I mean, yeah, it's kind of... There's certainly parts of it that have that effect of where you're kind of looking at it and just going, oh, God. And the way they're all fucking covered in the fucking jelly.
Oh.
Fuck me. Certainly had the desired effect.
Yeah,
oh, Jesus.
Look, I don't cringe very often when I'm watching a movie, but I did.
Yeah, there was a couple of kind of, come on. And then, of course, did you have to pause and kind of have a quick check?
Yeah. Is anyone watching me? No, it was fucking early in the morning, mate. No,
of course.
Only an idiot like me would have... is watching a body horror film from 1989.
It's only fucking you and the birds at that hour.
Even my dog wasn't having a bar of it. Billy Warlock. I'm happy with him.
Yeah,
what happened to the guy?
I thought he was good. Baywatch? Wasn't he on Baywatch?
He was on Baywatch. He also did a lot of soaps.
Yeah.
As the world turns and, all Days of Our Lives and all that sort of shit.
Those classics.
I think he's quite good here.
Yeah, he is. He is.
And he captures the paranoid stuff. He's also rocking a very impressive mullet.
He is.
Even in
He is.
'89.
Is it a mullet or is it more of kind of bouffant sort of? There's a bit of.
Is it a malarkey, Jared?
I don't know. But yeah, I think he's. I mean, it's not quite Mel Gibson, but it's
No,
heading that direction.
no,
I think
no.
I think he's quite good. I thought some of the other teen actors were pretty good. Old mate that's opposite him in the debate thing, you know, the guy that was bloody
Yes.
Pinocchio, Pino or whatever in Silent Night, Deadly Night 5.
Yes.
I think he's reasonably good. I think the guy that is his mate is pretty strong.
Yeah.
You know, the parents and the sister all do reasonably.
Well, I have another
Decent work.
like about that bit. The way it's directed is kind of a bit off kilter.
Yeah.
A lot of close-ups, a lot of sort of low shots looking upwards. The way the actors in the family they've got this happy kind of vibe about the way they talk.
Yeah.
You know, it's something kind of off-putting.
Yeah, and they
about
kind
them.
of, you know, the dad kind of talks in that sort of smooth, confident sort of delivery, but as you said, there's something
Something
off
not
about it.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty handy. It builds some atmosphere. It gives the film that kind of weird sensibility.
Yeah.
that I think it kind of
It
needs.
kicks off from the intro too, where he kind of just gets up in the middle of the night and sort of walks around his house. And as you said, I think there's already some sort of camera angles there and some music there that immediately puts you in this state of, all right, well, he's not.
At
he's-
points,
he's
even
a bit
Jared,
off.
it feels like, is this real? Like,
Yes.
there are moments where you're kind of like, is this actually happening?
Yeah, and is he imagining
Or
it?
is he
But even
imagining
in that
it?
intro scene, like his mum kind of turns on the light, and it's like that moment of. Normally, it'd be like the moment of release, but then her mannerisms and delivery don't give
Yeah.
that to you.
Yeah.
You're kind of like
It's still unsettling
I'm still a little
to
off
have
kilter
her
here.
there.
Yeah.
Even though it's supposed to be a moment where she's like, oh, everything's going to be fine, you're fine.
Yes.
It doesn't come across like that. And I think that's pretty handy.
Yeah. It's kind of like that intro part in the house kind of gives you like a twisted sort of amusement park kind of scene, like the music and stuff that was coming off and that sort of thing. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is how that you kind of see like a stereotypical sort of twisted amusement park sort of scene,
Yeah.
sort of shot. But then, you know, quickly after he's doing stuff like eating the fruits and then there's the
Yeah, there's
maggots.
that-
It's like
yeah.
he's just immediately unease in what is supposed to be his kind of environment.
Yeah. Agreed. The scene where we first kind of get a sense that there's some weird body kind of morphing sort of shit going on, where he kind of observes his sister in the shower. She seems to be on back to front.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of suitably weird, creepy. I mean, I've got a dislike to his fucking reasoning for being in the shower.
Yeah,
You know,
Need some lotion.
like big fella. I think, you know, I know you think you saw something weird, but don't open the door.
Yeah, don't know. Just fucking say, oh,
Leave.
Yeah, I'm crazy. It's in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm leaving.
So I kind of like that. I did like that. It kind of, again, we'll get to this, but that's where things drag a little. We don't have a lot of that.
No.
In the early, probably the
there's-
first hour, we don't really
There's
get
points where it seems to be, like, as you said, sort of relying on does he feel like he's fucking crazy and
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. I actually liked, I didn't really notice this the first time, but I kind of, this time around, I was sort of like, I like that they make him sort of one of the popular kids in a sense,
Yeah.
but he's not very well adjusted.
Yes.
And it's like he's,
well, he's kind of on the in, but kind of on the out.
yeah, well,
It's
exactly.
interesting to see that whole dynamic with those other guys down at the beach and everything.
But he's also like, he's in a position, seemingly he's in a position of privilege, even though he doesn't feel comfortable in that household.
well, his family are obviously
He's
well
rich,
off and everything
rich
like that.
family kind of.
He's like a school jock.
school
sort of.
jock, but he's going to therapy and shit. And I'm like, this is at a time in kind of the mainstream movies where it's painted sort of one way or another. Like it's, if you're the jock, you're a fucking bit of a dill. You're socially fine and whatever. You're the, you know, if you were in the sort of position that he's in, you'd be a misfit. You'd be fucking the kid that's getting picked on or something like that.
Yeah.
So I found it interesting that he was in that kind of spot. That's where they were kind of going with it, and it made a lot of sense for what they were going for with the sort of commentary on his family and class and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Did you notice his chart when he was in hospital?
Yes. There was
He was
something
having
about-
a colorectoscopy or something and a high enema as well. What's
How high is the enema? That's what I want to
But
know.
what does that mean?
Am I going to feel like a tickle on my
Like-
tonsils or
like-
something? Because I'm not fucking interested.
Yeah.
That's the
Does that mean the tube's fucking further in?
Yeah.
because,
Is it poking out my mouth?
because that defeats the purpose.
Correct. Yeah, a high enema. I kind of want to know what it is, but I don't.
Even if I woke up even groggy and noticed the high enema was on the fucking books,
Yeah.
I'm getting out of
Yeah,
there.
I'm going. Oh, dear. Yeah, he's in some real strife in the kind of, the rectal region.
But I don't understand what a colorectoscopy is, because that also sounds kind of high enema reaction.
Is it happening at the same time as the high enema? Because that could be a bit of a problem too. Or is there like an order? Is there a schedule of days that I need this happening?
Yeah. Is it like back-to-back days, or is there a fucking your grace period?
I'm like a
between
basketball
them?
player. I don't play back to backs. I need a couple of rest days.
Certainly when it comes to my asshole, I need 24 to 48 hours rest.
Exactly. Minimum 48.
Shit.
That chart might be the scariest thing in the movie now that you're talking about it. I think he needs a high enema because there's a head up his fucking ass by the looks of it, based on the other characters in the movie.
Yes. Yeah,
That's why it's got to be high.
Yeah, because his dad's fucking hanging out of him. Jesus Christ.
Hopefully that'll solve it. Hopefully with a high enema, your
don't
old man
worry,
will be
son. We'll
flushed
give you
out
an
of it.
enema and get him right out of there. All right, shit. My last like was the finale is just fucking genuinely just fucking disgusting. Like, it's all going on and there is just shit happening left and right. And this so-called, I don't quite understand the shunting. I don't understand what the shunting is. Is that putting hand up freckle and then fucking coming out of mouth?
Well,
Is that
was
just shunting in
part
general,
of-
or is
that
it-
was part of shunting.
Part of?
Well, I don't know. I don't really know what was going on either. But there was definitely some of that going on. I mean, that was the part where, yeah, that was a bit rough for me. But I don't. It was just, I mean, he kind of out and out says it's, we've been leeching off the poor for. They're kind of fucking absorbing the guy in some way.
Yeah.
Like, it's-
Are they also not eating him? Wasn't there a bit of eating going on?
Yeah, there was a little bit of eating.
I'm glad you're so fucking blasé about it.
Again, that's why everyone's got a high enema coming on tomorrow because they're eating people.
I mean, you fucking you watch that at 4 o'clock in the morning. See how you feel. Shit. It is a disgusting sequence, but it's kind of watchable. I'm not really sure why. I don't really want to admit this, but I was locked onto it.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't sort of turn away from it.
It's a loathsome, offensive brute.
It was, well, yes. It was a loathsome, offensive brute. I was not able to turn away
Yeah,
from
I think it's definitely like a memorable scene, and it's not something that I was like, "Fuck, I got to fast forward all this" or anything like that. Like it was. I mean, I was partly interested because I wanted to know what was going on, Adam. I couldn't figure that
Yeah,
part
but
out.
I wasn't getting answers, Jared.
No,
I wasn't getting
many answers
And
either.
you got mum's got man arms for legs, and her own daughter's head been in between her legs, which I thought was a fucking touch weird. And then next thing you know, there's a fucking guy on the bed, ass hanging out with Dad's face. I mean,
And he kind of
with
cackles.
no explanation.
He kind of cackles, which kind of put me even more like off kilter. I
He
was very
finds
uneasy.
this amusing.
When his head comes out and he kind of starts looking left and right, then he starts kind of.
And he's like, you were right, I'm a butthead.
Okay, the dialogue could have been better. But
Yeah.
the visual got me.
Oh, the visual indeed got me.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole thing about, I mean, fucking hell, just quietly, talk about a bad case to hemorrhoids. Someone's face is coming out of it.
Yeah, someone's face. It's got fucking teeth. Fucking hemorrhoids, all right.
Yeah, look, we better book you with the doctor because I got some real problems.
Yeah,
here.
I'm booking in for the dentist and I go in there and fucking lean over it. You just check this out. I seem to have a set of teeth in my
Oh, by the
backside.
way, have a copper gander at this. Like, imagine that. You go to your GP, you drop trowel, and you say, have a look at this.
Yeah. What seems to be going on? I don't know. Ask him. He's down there. He can tell you all about it. I mean, he won't shut up.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And you might want to fucking start writing this up for a medical journal because it's not normal.
Yeah. GP says, right, high enema, straight away, let's go. And a colorectoscopy. Just for good measure, to make sure we got it all.
It's surreal, disgusting, weird,
Yeah.
all rolled into one.
Yep.
And everyone's coated in fucking grease or something. I don't know. Was it grease, jelly?
Yeah. I think it was actually KY jelly, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
I think that's what they used.
So, standard orgy.
Yeah, it was pretty
orgy
standard
and you-
fare.
Party at Diddy's joint.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, he had 1,000 bottles of the stuff. Come on. Fuck.
Is it too early, Adam? for
No, it
gags
might
like
be
that?
too early for that, yeah. I mean, the guy, innocent until proven guilty, it would seem.
It would seem that, if that's been confirmed,
Yeah.
there might be some problems.
Anything else from your end?
Yeah, I had a couple. There was a couple of laughs. I don't know why. I found it funny when one of the girls said to, I can't remember who she said it to. I think his initial girlfriend or something like that. One of her friends says, "Oh, guys are going to pop high ones the second they see you." I thought it's not exactly you'll bar up, but popping a high one.
No,
It's kind of it's in the
popping a
same-
high one.
popping a high one. Guys are going to pop.
I've never
high
heard
ones.
that.
I also got another chuckle out of, trying to talk your way out of cheating on your missus and then accidentally dragging a blow-up doll into the mix.
Oh, yeah.
And copping a, how could you?
Yeah, in the front seat of your car, no less. And it's a convertible. There's nowhere to hide it.
Yeah. I thought that was well played. That
Was well played.
a good laugh.
Very good laugh.
I don't know why, but when she kind of was so incredulous and how could you, I fucking just burst out laughing. I actually thought you spoke about the hospital.
Yeah.
And we spoke about the chart, but I actually thought the scene in there was it kind of similar to the rest of the movie. It showed some sort of promise that didn't quite get there.
Yeah.
But I thought it started to kick things up a notch. Like when he was in the hospital and his mates trying to go in and they're declaring him dead and shit. I was like, okay, we're on here. Something's going on. We're sort of rolling here. I sort of like that scene, even though, as I said, I don't think it went all the way there, but I sort of dug. What
He
was
leaves
going on
after
there.
that and goes back, and that's where we
start shunting.
start fucking.
So, yeah, I think that was pretty much it. I think mostly, as you said, the biggest tick probably goes to the effects work because it's fucking like you said. It's you can't really kind of take your eyes off it, and it's gross, but you kind of just sitting there going, "That's fucking impressive."
It is impressive, yeah. It is impressive. Again, like a magic trick again.
Yep.
Now, dislikes. I wouldn't have said it was fast paced.
No, not really.
It falls back on. They a couple of times they use the whole your legs look fucking weird when you're in bed.
Yeah. Is it hanging out my freckle? That's my biggest concern.
Oh, your dad's hanging out of your ass.
Don't worry about your leg.
Yeah, but it relies on that. It does that a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it's like it's recycled, and it doesn't really push things forward. It's playing the paranoia game. It's making him paranoid. The visual works well.
The whole way through it does put you in that place with him of like, because they often shoot it from a little bit further away and that sort of thing, and you're kind of looking at it going, oh shit, he's into something he doesn't want to be here and that sort of thing.
They're trying to build his paranoia
Yeah.
and the audience's paranoia, but it just felt a little bit like, you don't have much.
Yeah, where are we going?
Yeah, you don't really know where you're going. You're still trying to hold out for the shunting stuff. Are you? Well, I'm not. Look, do you want to come over and party at my place, a bit of shunting? No, thanks.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
But you know what? I'm going to play PlayStation all week.
Yeah, I got invited over for fucking cheese and bickies, and I walk in and I go, "Ooh, I think I got to get home. I don't like that, so I'm lactose intolerant."
Just come round. We're going to have a couple of beers, we can watch a bit of TV, and then you walk in, everyone's all lubed up. You're like, oh, shit. Is it one of these? Is it?
Fuck.
Time to go home.
Yeah, sorry. I'm out.
They're going for satire, and I think they're kind of there to a degree, but they also lean very heavily into the grossness.
Yeah.
Which kind of maybe doesn't necessarily undercut the satire, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's a little clunky once you've got to that.
But the satire doesn't quite go all in either. Doesn't go quite that deep.
Yeah, they feel like they're kind of on the surface where it probably needed to go even weirder.
Yeah.
God help us, but it needed to go weirder.
Did it?
It did. It needed to get weird.
Where?
I don't know where to go.
What other body part can be?
I don't know, but it needed to have some other strange shit going on.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Billy Warlock, mate, oldest high schooler in fucking history.
Oh, yeah.
He was 28. He made this, and he was supposed to be 16 or 17.
Good. That's pretty standard, though.
Billy looks good. He looks young.
Yeah.
But shit, even then.
Billy's at that age, he's a fucking fourth-year teacher, isn't he?
Exactly.
I think, look, I said most of the acting was pretty good.
Yeah.
I really didn't like his girlfriend's part. Shauna, I think her name was. The girl that was with him initially.
Oh, yeah.
And I think part of it's purposeful to continue to isolate him and have her kind of...
But she seemed a bit over the top.
Looking to trying to get into that circle herself, but it was so exaggerated and it just came across... I don't know, it just sort of came across badly.
Yeah, agreed.
Until she said, "How could you?" That hit
the spot.
That part, that was great.
But yes, her performance was too broad, too fucking way over the top.
Well, it was just nagging him to get to the party and then reacting to being cheated on, pretty much.
I mean, if you took your missus to that kind of party...
You don't want the invite. Take it from me.
Yeah, look, I've been there and it was not pleasant.
Yes.
So I suggest you don't go.
Yeah. We've got an invite to Diddy's Freak Off instead.
Oh, yeah, I'd rather go there.
Hell.
As I said before, what the fuck's he doing in his sister's bathroom? Okay?
Yeah.
You don't open the door.
No,
it's your sister, dude.
Just call out, is your head on backwards?
Yeah. Are you, back to front in there? Or just go, you know what? It's a pearled glass.
Yeah, it's playing a visual
tricks on me. Oh, and by the way, I'm in my sister's bathroom staring at her in the nude.
Yeah, I better get out.
I don't need sunscreen that bad.
But Adam, that becomes the least strange thing that's going on in that family. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, fuck, he would have been considered, standard operating procedure if his parents had come in.
I probably thought, we've got him. He's joining the show.
He looks like he's all right. He seems pretty fucking locked in on this.
Yeah. We're talking about the satire elements and the society and that sort of thing. I feel like it goes a little over the top because we're kind of talking about privilege and whatever, but in isolating him, we end up with paramedics and policemen in the kind of society.
Yeah, I know. I didn't quite
I
get
get the idea about power and that sort of shit, but if you're talking about that inner circle, yeah, okay, the doctors might be in there, but the paramedics, I mean, those poor bastards aren't in high society. They're fucking
guys. They're
busting
making
their tail for
they're making OT money. That's
exactly. So when we got to those levels,
that shit didn't make sense.
That's where it sort of stretched a bit, and I'm kind of like, well, we're kind of getting away from
to me.
Where we want to be.
They're the people who get absorbed.
Yeah, exactly.
But what do they get absorbed into?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't know whether they'd been already absorbed, which is why they were part. But then that doesn't work with the satire for me. I thought you would, like I said, I thought you were talking about the privilege, and they don't look like they're necessarily. They look like they're working for somebody, but so does everyone. The judge.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the same with what's his mum, Clarissa's mum.
Yeah.
It keeps turning up. She looks like she's been lobotomized.
Yeah.
She looks fucking weird. Admittedly, the first time she pops out, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like it kind of got me.
Yeah.
But there was no explanation for it. She was like a mute.
And
She coughed up a fucking hairball or something and gave it to him. What was that about?
She'd been shunting.
Is that a fucking remnant of the last shunt that we were involved in?
No, I don't know. And I also didn't kind of get. Okay, so Clarissa's one of them, but she's all right.
Yeah, because we saw her legs on backwards at one point. Fucking hell.
Like, this is where it's twisting an idiot like me in knots.
It is.
I feel like there was a few parts of that just didn't quite fit for me.
Yes. This is where we come back to Brian Yasner talking about he was more focused on the surrealism and all that, because I feel like that's where we lose the threads of this stuff and the logic of it. What's his Billy Warlock's sex face? He looks in pain. I mean, I don't know about
Well,
you,
he
mate.
might have been, because, I don't know, something could have been going on that was similar to the shunting, sort of.
Well, I mean, you seem to be having a good time, Billy. I think you should sort of relax the face a touch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't go like this. Don't look like fucking Frank Drebin having his fucking shoelaces tied up. That's what he looks like. The last couple of, for me, are when we're in the middle of the shunting and Billy pulls Ted inside out.
Yeah. Yes. Is that a high?
It's the least convincing effect, in my opinion, because there's a sequence where his hand's through all these orifices in his head, and he's squeezing his fucking head like a mad ball. That was
great stuff.
It looks fucking lunacy.
Yeah.
It looked totally rubbery. Like, it was totally, like, you could tell 100% that it was obviously fake. But it's just fucking squeeze his head to the inside, like, and then you've turned him inside out, and he's like a pack of maggots or something. Is that what was inside him?
Yeah, something like that.
Again, I didn't get that either.
The worms
Does that mean the inside of him was awful?
The slugs that they were getting out of the garden, or
Yeah, what the fuck?
Does that mean someone had been pulled inside out at the last shunting because they had a bunch of slugs on a plate?
Yes.
I don't know.
Tough one to understand. The last thing for me was it just ends so abruptly.
Yeah.
There's no explanation of anything. There's no coda that.
Yeah, I don't need like full explanations
No, but
of it all.
something.
But they just kind of take off and leave.
And the old guy looks at the bloke next to him and says something about, have you got someone for next shunt or something like that? I can't remember exactly what he says.
Yeah.
Before Billy Warlock runs out of the fucking house, but it's very abrupt. Like, it stops quick.
Yep. Fair enough.
What about for you? Got anything else?
Well, I mean, you had your moment in the shunt that really kind of turned you off a little bit of someone being pulled inside out. I thought the bit that got a touch off the rails for me was the judge rolling in and saying, and now we'll get to the bottom of this, and then jamming his hand seemingly all the way through.
Yeah, up the guy's fucking keister.
I didn't need
and
that
out
imagery.
of his mouth.
I did.
I mean, Jared, I've got to have a colonoscopy next week, and fuck me if it's anything. I'll be saying, I'm assuming this doesn't involve your hands.
If the doctor's hand ends up out your mouth,
Yeah,
you might be saying, no, I think I'm done.
I'll say, listen, as long as it's nothing like society, I'm pretty fucking happy.
Yeah, have you heard of the shunting?
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
That was kind of, that was pretty gross. That was pretty icky sort of shit.
Yep.
And I understand that, again, I feel like they were pushing the envelope a little bit to make up for some of the shit that wasn't there. Like some of the satire that didn't hit the mark,
Yeah,
you're kind of making up by going ruthlessly overboard.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't get me wrong, I was intrigued by that shit.
Mm.
But it still had me sort of shivering a little internally.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anything else from you?
No, I think that was pretty well it.
Yeah, that was it for me as well. That was Society. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're at Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at Thrill Me Podcast AU. Keep an eye on the Facebook page to see what we cover next. Coming into the Christmas season, we'll probably try and grab a couple of...
Red one will be on there for sure.
Red one will definitely be on there. But until then, take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch you all later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.